Welcome to the Ref Room, hockey talk for referees, coaches, players, and fans. Broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. With your hosts, Scott Smokin' Sills and Brad Baumrock.
Live.
The Ref Room starts right now.
And now your host.
All right, what's up, everybody? I am Scott Smokin' Sills. This is the Ref Room. I am with my friend, a good friend here, Mr. Brad Baumrock, our referee-in-chief here in Illinois area. And we do this every Monday. So for those of you that are just checking us out on the replays or you're catching us live right now, welcome to the show. We got some people checking in from all over the country at this point. And, we're definitely going to open it up for all you guys that are watching. If you got some questions and that sort of thing, feel free to jump into the comments. And if you're looking at us for the first time, put your name in the comments. Let us know who you are and where you're calling from or where you're checking in from. So we got Cameron checking in from Massachusetts already. And I can't read that last one, but look at these. Oh, look at us.
Yeah,
okay.
You see what it says.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
I haven't had a beer yet, so I know I'm good. Anyway, it's good to see you guys again. Day, so. It's been a hectic couple weeks. We've just with so much hockey. I mean, we just jumped right into the fire. It's hard to believe. Technically, we're like 3 weeks into the season. I don't know about you, but I already feel like I've been run over by a truck. So
it's longer than that, Scott. It's actually about 6. So yeah,
well,
we're moving along pretty good here.
We kind of say October 1st is the real start of the season. I get we've been working since September, but normally it's kind of like October. Everybody's up and running, and all the leagues are in full effect. So anyway, Leonard Burns says, "Oh, hey guys, where were you last week?" Yes, we did take a week off, kind of unexpectedly. Brad had something come up, and
sorry,
maybe when you're gonna take off, maybe I need to get a co-host to jump in and maybe put a group or a forum together so that we're here every week. We try to be consistent, but since we moved to Mondays, we do have there's more holidays and things that kick in, and so that means more hockey and more going on, and probably gonna have to take those few dates off here and there. How much can you guys take of us anyway?
Yeah, hey, just prep everybody right now. We're off next week. It's Halloween.
We don't want to do a Halloween show? Really?
No, not at 5:30. It's trick-or-treating at 4 o'clock, man. I'm going to be out in my costume getting candy from everybody around here. What's wrong with you?
Already got you. All right. You wearing your referee jersey?
No, I'll be more creative than that. Yeah. Referee jersey with blood on it.
Hey, by the way, I went to Addison yesterday. Haven't been there in a long time. Thank you, York High School, for cleaning up the locker room. Much better. Much better. Painted, ceiling tiles. I mean, I didn't even freeze in there. I worked on the NHL rink 2 games and didn't even freeze. I was like, I had my little wristies ready to go just in case it was like below 0 in there. And it was actually comfortable. Wristies. The ice was good.
What's a wristy?
A wrist? Oh, you don't know what a wristy is? Somebody gave me these for Christmas. And they are, it looks like, what a sweatband is? Like, like an athlete would put a little wristband on, like a wristband. Yeah. All right, so imagine that, and then imagine, have you ever seen on a jacket, like something that's like an outdoorsy piece, that they have like a slit in the thing, and
Like
the
a
sleeve is a little
flange?
long, and your thumb goes in like this, and there's something that goes over your wrist like that? That's called a
Yeah.
wristy. But what it does,
Interesting.
it keeps your fingers out, and it keeps your wrist here like covered, this portion. So it looks like an extension of your ref jersey.
So not full gloves.
It's not even a glove. It's
Okay.
only
Well,
like, it's this part. It keeps the back of the hand warm, which keeps keeps your hands warm.
It helps with the circulation. I got it. I get it.
Anyway.
But it's not wearing full gloves.
Now I haven't, I do have one of the referees that has moved to the gloves allegedly, and he got them for $1.98 at Jewel or something like that, and he was pretty excited. He called me up about those gloves. I don't know, man. I'm not really feeling gloves. It's not my thing.
I'm not wearing gloves.
I'm not
No
wearing
offense.
gloves.
I mean, I'm not going to give you a hard time if you are. I mean, unless you're my friend, then I'm definitely.
Well, he is your friend, by the way. He is your friend.
Oh boy. Okay. You can send me a text afterwards. Let's not even.
He may very well be watching. If not, I'm sure he'll see the replay, and he'll know
All right.
who we're talking about. Yes.
Well, maybe all the rinks that he's in are in Antarctica now.
Super cold. Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
I know.
I'm not a big fan of the gloves.
I
Sorry.
don't like the gloves either. We just don't like change. I think that's what it comes down to. We're still wearing Foot Locker uniforms from, like many years ago, right? Our
Well, what else
jerseys
would you
haven't
want?
changed. We never adapted. We never did like the NHL style jersey or anything like that. So, we're just.
The mesh.
Yeah,
I had a set of the mesh ones.
I think they're nice. I think that new the referee jersey looks really good. I think the NHL
with the
referee
extra-
jersey. I think that
with
looks
the
nice.
with the extra orange line that comes down the front and down the
Yeah.
I like that they do have it down the back
Yep.
of the arm. I think that's slick. And they also got the stripes that are a little different. So I don't know. I like it. They're cool with me, but I think if we tried to keep up with that in youth
I know.
sports, we'd go more broke.
I know it would be expensive. I get it, but I just think it's cool. Just a change. Honestly, like I've been doing this 11 years. You've been doing this, what, 24 years? Your jersey
Correct,
hasn't
among them.
changed in 24 years, right?
Well, I did have mesh ones for a couple years.
But
So
were you supposed to
did
have
wear
mesh ones, or you just got one because?
until they announced that we weren't supposed to be wearing them. I had them, but yeah, they I forgot when they put the stop to that. I think it was like the second year, like before districts.
Well, I
They
think
asked everybody to
I
wear
wanna
the
say-
traditional ones.
I started in 2011 or 2012, something like that. And I bought some used stuff off one of my friends to referee. So I would have some stuff to go to the seminar and everything. And it was a mesh jersey. And I still have it because the thing just doesn't go bad. I mean, if you want to wear it to men's league or something like that, they're great.
Well-
They're well made.
Well, I actually got a little bit of a gripe. I got some new sweaters, just to get some new ones, right? Put some new ones on, make them look real nice, right? And I got them, and I am not happy with the quality of them. And
Really?
I don't know. I'm guessing they might have just accidentally sent me the wrong ones.
Well, if you're referring to the ones that are made by the Canadian organization, which I'm assuming you are, which most of the guys wear, we won't call anybody out on this. But if you look at the tag, if it's got the Canadian flag in there, you bought the pro jersey. If
Right,
it
if
doesn't have the
not-
Canadian flag, you didn't
Right.
buy the pro jersey. And yes, the quality is major different.
Well, I can tell you this: I definitely paid for the pro ones because I wouldn't make that mistake again. But yeah,
Hey, I hear there's a lot of bootleg jerseys floating around.
Yeah, well, you know what? And to be honest with you, I actually forgot about the flag, and
Yeah.
you are 100% right. I forgot about that, and you.
Yeah.
But
If you
that
buy the
shows
pro
how long it's
sweater
been.
from the company we're referring to, it will have a Canadian flag with the size, and the size will be European size. Like for me, it's a 48, given my size, but it's a 48, and it's got the Canadian flag on it. So
Yeah,
that's how you know if you got the pro jersey versus, because they have one that's
Now
less
I've-
expensive. But
Now I'm very interested to go look at it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's sitting over there, and it's
we
screaming my name.
we can give you a few seconds to walk over there.
Nah,
You sure?
Unflattering.
We got to do
when I stand up.
We've talked about this. We have to do a "What's in Your Bag" show where we go through the bags and show like what we have. I think that would be very cool. By the way, did you see Mike Keenan is going to coach the 2026 Italian men's team in the Olympics?
So he left the Canadian program, or the Chinese program in order to go there.
What, I didn't know he was at he was running the Chinese program for hockey.
As far as I know.
Oh, wow.
He was.
Okay. Well, they announced he's going to be doing the 2026 Italian team.
Big name. Big name.
Yeah.
Big name.
Yeah.
Good coach.
Yep. He's a legend, no doubt.
Had big problems with Dennis Savard. That's why we didn't have him here for so long. But, let's not get into that.
Well, there were others that didn't stick around either. I mean, let's face it. I'm sure even as a professional making big money, I know as an amateur, it's hard to sometimes play for some of the coaches that you have on your team or you get. It's not always fun. I mean, I've been in that boat where you just got to suck it up for a year because they'll be there for 1 year and then you get a different coach and it's not always easy. So I can only imagine how bad it must be if you're making like $5 million a year playing hockey and you're not happy, because you should be happy.
Well, that's how coaching changes happen. So,
yeah.
All right. So what do we want to talk about today, Scott?
Well, we got a lot we could talk about. You and I were talking about 2 weeks ago, there was a video that was floating around on the internet. Is it safe to referee in 2022-23? Is it safe? That's the question. Because we saw a video in Canada of a coach coming out and getting in a fight with the referee on the ice. Did you see the video I'm referring to? I don't know how many of you guys out there watching have seen that, but it's out there. And, fairly, would you call it a high-level game? Was it a midget game, a bantam game? What was it? I'm not even sure now.
I think it was a higher-level bantam game.
Higher level.
I think, the bad part about all this is, those things get around real quick. They're attention grabbers.
Of course they are.
And I stopped at it just to see the reaction, And when I watched it, I'm like, whoa. And then I thought about all the games that get played. I really thought about, since we're going to have it here in a couple weeks, the Super Series that Advanced Arenas, whatever they're calling themselves now, puts on. CCM, World Invite right now. We have 1,400 games that get played. And, we've been doing this here now for, I want to say it's like 16, 17, 18. It's been a long time. Let's put it that way. And we haven't had any incidents like this in all those games. So, I get it. I get where people are turned off by it. I get where referees don't want to do it because they're worried about it. Overall, they are extremely rare. I try to say that even though those are the ones that you see, but you don't see the other, say there's 1,400 games played in that weekend and this happens in the one, you don't see the other 1,399 that got played that may have had almost no issues.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. And if you multiply that, I mean, we're probably having in Illinois 40,000 games a year in the Chicagoland area.
Try 75 to 90,000.
Are you serious? We have that many games? I thought it was like 35,000 on the one schedule or on the one website, and then, add a few more for spring or whatever. At any rate, there's a ton, okay? There's a lot of games out there. That's the bottom line. And, I know we hear about a handful of incidents every year. Something stupid happens or crazy or questionable, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And again, as I always say, this is a very emotionally charged game, okay? You got to be a little thick-skinned to do this. So I guess that brings me to, well, since we're talking about this, like, how many incidents do you probably figure we end up with a year, like in Illinois. And we probably have, I'm not saying we have more than average, but we have more games. So we're probably going to have a few incidents during the course of the year.
Do you mean like incidents to like that extreme? Or
No, I don't.
Incidents in general?
I don't think we don't really get anything at that extreme, do we? Have we had anything like that?
We have before, but not recently, thank God.
Wow.
Not in the past 6 weeks.
Hey, way to stretch it out there. Yeah. Hey, we went a few weeks now without something.
No. I'm just trying to make light of it. No, it doesn't happen that often, especially with all the games that we have here. But, incidents are not only, things that are weird, but incidents are also every game misconduct. That's still an incident. Every match penalty, that's still an incident.
Right.
Every disturbance that you have, that's still an incident. When the referees show up and the Zamboni breaks down on the ice,
it's an incident. Yeah.
So, we have.
Hey, stop. We're on Zambonis. Let's talk about Zamboni drivers. Let's talk real quickly about this.
All right, now you're getting way off topic.
Oh, yeah. This is what I like. We're freestyling today, folks. That's what we're calling it. It's Freestyle Monday.
Yeah.
So if you're working a solo game at a rink, do you think that the Zamboni driver, when he opens the door, could maybe take the net that's like right next to him? Like pop that off, or should you have to go do both the nets? I'm asking for a friend.
I have a personal opinion on this. One, I didn't buy the ice. Two, I'm not renting the ice. Three, I don't work at the rink. So I don't understand why we're moving nets at all, but let's just push that to the side. There's been a lot
I was going to go there. I was
individuals.
trying to get this one out. I was going to start baby steps with the referee in chief.
There's a lot of very nice individuals over the years that have been courteous enough to do these things. And you know what? It's become a tradition. Some areas don't do it at all. And I understand that. I get the stance, and the rinks comply, and they help them out. And you know what? Here, we do it for most of the arenas. There are a select few that actually have somebody there that does it because it's been there for so long. But, it'd be nice if they'd walk out and do it. It's only 10 or 12, well, it's longer than that. It's 40 feet. Let's put it that way. Right. And I worked at a rink, and, I think it's probably just the referee side of me that I'm going to go get that net for the referee anyways. And not only that, once it's off my ice surface, I can start making the ice. They still got to bring it to me. It takes me longer to wait for it.
Yeah.
But I'll give you a good story. So I'm working with one of the ops managers locally in the area. He's a referee. And we're out there and we're working at his rink. And we kind of have a game going on just like that. The game ends. We're standing down on the far side. We're talking about something. And his Zamboni guy is standing there looking like Peter Pan with his two hands on his hips. I don't know if anybody's ever seen the old drawings of Peter Pan. He tries to catch his shadow. He's standing there, and I turn to him and I go, "Hey, you better go tell Peter Pan to go get that net." I go, because you know what? He could be getting that right now and getting that off the ice, and you could be moving along, and he can get out of here and we can get out of here. Come on, he can move 40 feet in order to get that net.
Well, I'm not even talking 40 feet. I literally had a guy standing at the net, and I'm down at the other end doing it. I'm like, really? You couldn't pop that net off? Like, you stood there and looked at it, and, honestly.
Maybe he didn't know how to. It's a peg.
I think he's been there for a long time, okay? Long time. Anyway.
Does he get overtime?
I don't know. This was earlier in the day, But I just, I've even had them like, and can you put the nets over the boards, like onto the player's bench? No. I'll bring the net over.
I'm not going to lie. I used to do it all the time when I worked at the one rink because I worked at that park district at the end of the night. And it doesn't really, I'd probably still do it today just to help them out because I worked there and a lot of referees used to do it for me. But it is not easy to get that net up and over those boards standing on
I know
skates.
I don't disagree with you on that, but I mean, I just, if you knew the guy and you worked there on a regular basis and everything, like the guy's nice and probably help him out a little bit. But
I agree.
You can only go so far with being nice sometimes. So I had to ask that question.
I do have my opinions, but I also do respect the rink staff. If there's only one person there,
yeah,
I'm more than likely going to help them out.
Yep.
I just think that they could, be courteous back if we help you out throughout the entire day.
Yeah.
You can maybe help us out at the end of the night when it's midnight.
Yeah, I agree.
My 2 cents.
Well,
not like we're changing.
All right. Well, let's go a step further since we're on the net subject. So let's say you're working a high school game, and there's the back-to-back. You got the JV and the varsity game, and you've just finished the varsity game, which is first, and you go into overtime and shootout. So it's been a long game, and the two bands just disappear into the night, and they leave you out there. And they leave you out there, and they just go in the locker room, and they're going to go change. And they don't have the next game. You have the next game, which means maybe they should give the guys that have been on the ice a break and let them sit down for 5 extra minutes. What do you think about that?
All right, I'll come from the old school that I never got a break to sit down, so neither do you. This has been passed along for generations. Get over it. It's just one more period, and you know what? Working the two.
Not one more period. You got one more game to do. You've got a whole nother game to do.
No, because if those nets are getting pulled to the side for an ice make, you're going to get some time to sit down. No more than you normally would.
You get your 5 minutes. I know.
Yeah, well, 5 minutes is better. Than no
we're
minutes.
freestyling, okay? I'm coming up with this stuff on the fly. All right, so work with me. Alan's checking in. Alan, I hear your rink is up. I hear it's looking good, and Frankie's doing well. And I think Frankie's sitting right down there. She's laying down resting right now. I'm sure she'll. Oh, speaking of the devil, there she is. She popped her head up. Come on up here.
And my dog
She's
was
right
literally just running into the back of my computer a little while ago. That's why the camera was moving.
Yeah.
But she went and laid down now.
All right. So what do you want to, I threw a couple things out, so it's your turn to freestyle back here. What do you want to come up with?
Well, I think the big thing is, a lot of people don't know what to do if their partner gets injured. And, I know that can be a nerve-rattling thing. I know we've covered it before, but I just want to briefly touch it real quick. If your partner gets injured, try and find somebody else to work the game with you if you can. There might be a parent there. There might be even a player that might be willing to work the game with you that's playing on another rink. Something like that. If you can't find somebody, you can get one of the coaches probably probably to come out there and skate the game with you, especially if it's a higher level game. Now, here's one thing that we haven't covered, and I don't know if anybody's ever seen it, but I've seen some stuff happen to where, it's a bad enough injury, and the other official has to take the other official to the hospital. What do you do at that point?
You don't call the ambulance?
I've heard of it where they've actually had to physically take them to the hospital during the game. Now, I've never seen it. Normally, I would call the ambulance, too.
That's interesting, but, we're in a pretty heavily populated area with, pretty good
I agree.
facilities and things of that nature. And most of the rinks are located in big enough communities with full fire departments and full services. So I would assume that you would
I'm just touching
call
on
the guy. Call the guy.
I'm just touching on as a hypothetical. So, what you would do is if you guys have to leave that assignment for whatever the reason is, let's say both of you become ill. Who knows? You never know. You both could have went to lunch together and both get food poisoning. Who knows? Let's put that out there.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
You would suspend that game. Make sure and write the time down, the period that they're in, everything like that. Now, here's one that hasn't been covered that I've actually been a part of once. It was a long time ago. We had a player get his wrist stepped on. And it was blood protruding from their wrist, like shooting out.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
And and me and the other referee, he was an ex police officer, and he knew how bad it was going to be, so he grabbed the kid's wrist, and I came over and we took a skate lace that we had in his pocket and we tourniqueted him.
Yeah.
And got him off the ice, right? The team that he was on was so vividly distraught that we went and we spoke to the coaches, and they're like, I don't think we can play anymore.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I know that all the stuff says that you need to finish your assignment no matter what's going on, something like that, all right? In a situation with a major injury where the players are distraught, there's no reason to continue that game. A, they're mentally possibly unstable at that point. And B, not only that, if you have players that are worried about that way more than what they're doing, I think you can definitely suspend that game. I think you need to do what's right for that game, and that's a game management standpoint. But it's going to be far and few in between. And that's the only time I've ever seen it. I've seen many injuries.
Well, let's throw this back out. So
but it was an age thing, too.
Well, let's say you do have a serious injury. Is it up to both teams to agree to suspend the game, or can one team make that decision?
So here's what I'm saying, not officially. I'm saying this is not an official thing from anybody. I thought of it the other day when I was sitting around. If I was in that situation and I knew that the players were distraught, the coaches were distraught, they wanted to go see this player, maybe they were going to the hospital, I think in this day and age, I'm going to make the call that we need to finish this game later. The league can figure out what they're going to do about it, unfortunately. Now, again, not saying cancel games because of somebody being injured.
Right.
We're talking extreme
bad situations
here.
Yep.
I mean, you gotta manage the game.
I had something probably a year plus ago. I think it's about a year. Had a player get the leg broken, and it was bad.
I've seen that a lot.
Ambulance had to come. Everybody was down for quite a while. You go to both teams, you ask the question, is it up to both teams or is it up to one team?
I think you're going to make the best decision that you can, judging on the game, and that's just the way it is. I get that one team might want to play, one team might not, but
does the referee have the power at that point?
So unofficially, I would say no.
Yeah,
I don't think we do, but I'm going to say
that's where I was going with this, and I wanted everybody to kind of hear it so that they know.
And personally, though, I'm going to make the best decision for that game and those players, and that is just my personal preference. I've never had to do it. The only reason we did it was, the other team obviously understood.
Sure.
And they were totally fine with it. So, which actually it was even funnier because the assigner had called us afterwards. This was a long time ago. I'm talking, we did a signing on the phone. And they called us up, and the two teams were going to play again. And they asked us, because we had stopped that game, if we would go finish it and then do the game afterwards without, any extra pay or anything. So, of course, we said, yeah, absolutely. When we got there, the kid was there. It was only a week later, I think.
Yeah.
He had, kid there, happy, healthy, bunch of stitches. Couldn't wait to show him off to us, right? But, I think that we all look at this, it's a sport, it's a game, what's good, what's bad. But also, we got to remember people are involved, and that can be really difficult, especially when there's rules involved and money involved, which we all understand, I think, every assignment that we work.
Yeah.
But I think part of managing that game is making the best determination of what's going to happen in that game. Now, I'm not saying that you have a game that's going haywire, you can stop. That's on you. You got to manage that problem.
The Gong Show continues, baby. We got TV coverage.
This is like an extreme circumstance, or even crazier. Somebody calls in a bomb threat. Okay, could you imagine that during a game?
No, don't give anybody any ideas either, please.
Well, hey, just putting it out there.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying you got to always be open to situations. And, you know, we could sit here, I think, Scott, you, me, and we could get 20 other really, really high-level referees in here, and we could talk for 10, 12, 20 days. and guess what? We could not even break the tip of the iceberg of what could happen during a game that you have to make a decision.
Yeah.
And it ultimately lies on your shoulders.
I don't
So
think a
just
lot of
remember-
people realize how much the referees do have to consider when they're out there working a game. I mean, a lot of people take for granted because they see people that are very experienced out there working their games. But, you know, this is all subject to change. I mean, let's be really honest. You know, we are shorter on referees than we were, you know, from over the past
I got
years,
good
probably.
news.
Well, all right, but
Good
wait.
news.
All right, but let me just finish my train of thought here before I
Yeah,
have
go
a
ahead.
senior moment, you know?
Sorry.
But, you know, the fact of the matter is we are having newer officials coming into the pool of officials, and
Yep.
they are being tasked with taking on a greater responsibility in a shorter period of time than they have probably in years past, as they try to get them in and move them up the ranks so that we can utilize these people. But, you know, folks don't realize, you know, what all is involved out there. And I think if, you know, if you ever had a chance to go take a seminar, you know, I know we've talked about this before on the show. I mean, something as simple as just dropping the puck is not as simple as you think. And, you know, if you've never done it before, I encourage you to go over and try it sometime because it's.
I actually saw a coach over the weekend. It's either this weekend or last weekend. And they had taken their referee seminar. And all they wanted to talk about was dropping the puck. Now, I don't know why he took his referee seminar. I didn't ask him that. But he had taken it, and he's like, wow. He's like, you guys make it look really easy. I couldn't get that thing to even come close to landing flat. I'm like, yeah, everybody was there like that. We get it.
Yep.
Once you get it, though. Like, it doesn't go away. It's like riding a bike.
But I think the point is everybody thinks that that's probably the simplest task that we could possibly do out there is drop the puck. How tough can it be? And then all of a sudden you find out it's not that easy. And when you take all the other things that we do that seem to look fairly easy, like getting from zone to zone and moving around in traffic in the corner, in the golden triangle, et cetera, you add all these things up. It's a skilled job. It's a skilled job, folks. You know, it takes training, it takes practice, and it takes skill. You know, you can't just walk out there and go work a high-level game without any experience. And,
But you can
know,
try.
You can try. I think the word is truck. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Truck.
I agree with you 100%. So.
Yeah. All right, so let's. I'm going to ask you a question too now, because not that I don't ask questions all the time, but the game sheet. You know, now we're on the iPad for a lot of the games, everybody. So a couple things I've noticed. I'm in there like 3 and 4 times in some of these. I don't know why. I don't know how we got to that point because we're always entering. And all right, so that's the first question. But I called a penalty shot the other night at a high school game.
So did I.
What's that?
So did I.
Yeah,
I kid you not. I just called one. I haven't called one in a long
I had
time.
a penalty shot the other night, but in the gamepad or the game sheet, couldn't find penalty shot in there. So we ended up going into the referee notes and putting it in there at the end of the game. But I'm surprised they don't have something for a penalty shot after a penalty situation in there.
Yeah, but it's
nobody
not,
could find it.
That's not the penalty, though. The penalty is whatever the penalty is, and then it's actually a note on the sheet.
Notation.
So it goes right in that notation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just like if I have something weird happen, like amazingly a couple weeks ago, I had a guy playing with a broken stick, and it's a delay game penalty, but there was no broken stick in there. I think I did actually hear though somebody said that they did add it.
Doesn't that go in as a equipment violation?
I put it underneath delay game. So,
Okay.
But I just noted it, and what's cool about the iPads is you can actually sit there and add your typed in version, click, or you can actually record your voice if you want to do it that way too.
Oh, I didn't know you could record your voice in there. That's pretty cool. Interesting.
Yeah.
Brett says it's in the minutes. What's in the minutes? What minutes is he referring to?
I don't know. He's a board member. Who cares? He's not the secretary, so we don't have to worry about it.
Okay. All right. What's
I
up,
felt like
Brett?
giving him a hard time, though. Thanks, Brett.
Always good to see you checking in. Do we have anything coming up? Probably not.
Yes, me and Brett will trade emails throughout the day.
Yeah,
That's generally what happens.
All right. So I wanted to point that out from the game sheet thing. Let's see what else I have in here in my book of tricks here that I was trying to keep a couple notes. You got one you want to come back with?
The only thing I have is the game reporting, with USA. I think the big thing is people are getting a little pigeonholed with it still. If you can't find somebody with the state, the name, the level, and that they're a player, just try the name, the last name, and the state. Give it a whirl. Take a look at it. The first initial is, the single alphabet numeric there. The last name, and their birth year is on the right-hand side. Give it a good college try. I don't mind finding them. Please,
it
call
would
me
be
if you have a
nice
problem.
since we do have this big tournament coming in, and all these teams are coming from all over North America. It would be nice to have the information on the sheet or on the score sheet somehow with their information that's going to be required if you do a game report.
Well, you're asking a lot. So, you're lucky there's a sheet. And not a piece of loose
I'm guessing
paper.
we're on the iPad for that, or are we on a score sheet for that?
No clue.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be the iPad. I'm gonna go out on a limb.
I think it was the iPads.
Yeah,
I think it was.
We got a 50-50 shot of being right on this. I'm going to say it's going to be the iPad.
We're the new weathermen of Chicago.
That's right. All right, let's talk about gong shows. For those of you that are watching this show that don't know what a gong show is, the gong show is
that's
Brad?
Scott's every Friday. Scott's every Friday.
No. I try to avoid gong shows.
Multiple penalty situation occurring on the ice at the same time, which is much greater than a bunch of guys pushing and shoving. Does that characterize it a little bit better?
Yeah.
Or a bench clear. Bench clears are interesting.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to jinx myself, so I'm not even going to say anything about that stuff. But
I'll tell you this as an official, that's the worst feeling in the world when the bench is clear.
Yeah.
That's the worst. It's like going, wow, here comes the tidal wave.
I wish the coaches would make their players aware that even in the scrums, stuff escalates because somebody, thinks they're doing you a favor by coming over there and trying to, grab somebody or hold somebody off, and that's not the case. You're only escalating the situation. That's why we have the third man in.
First to intervene.
First to intervene.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's call it the right thing.
Okay.
And yes, you can have a first to intervene from one team and a first to intervene from the other team.
That's right.
At the same
you can have
time.
two that intervene. That's right. One from each side. So if they're both the third.
It was
first
just
to intervene. But yeah,
it was just on the test. So I just finished my test up this afternoon, and it was on there. And then also I noticed there was a great question on there that I don't know if a lot of people noticed. Two players battling, and one player gets knocked down on top of the puck. Can the official stop the play in order to prevent injury from that player? Yes, absolutely they can. And that question used to be worded for very many years. The puck is stalled against the boards.
Yes.
And a third player is going to come in and make contact. Can you stop play?
Yeah.
And it was a difficult question to answer because of how it was written. And I think this wording was much better. So
I agree.
For everybody that complains about the wording, they definitely fixed that. So I commend it 100%.
Well, the other thing that, when they changed the verbiage in the rule book this year, I think that last year, they did a great job with that, with,
we're
changing
two players engaged.
Yes. The players engaged, and also to, reckless endangerment. I think that
Correct. I agree.
really helped officials to understand the situation and be able to explain the situation if asked. I think that is a really great upgrade that they made to that. So, kudos on that, because better for everybody. Gong shows do happen. And,
Yeah,
do you have any tips that you want to share with your 24 years of experience on how to calm things down when you need to?
Yes. Breathe. Take a breath. No, seriously. So, like, the big thing is, like, when you are in that situation, you can either make the situation worse or you can try and work the situation. And you overreacting, the players are going to gauge off that, and it's only going to get worse. So you being panicked and doing things, leads to players possibly getting injured and yourself getting injured, which is even more critical. No offense, if you're laying on the ice hurt, guess what? Now you're one less referee down whatever system you're working to even try to disengage this situation.
Yeah.
So take a breath, breathe, analyze the situation, go to the biggest disadvantage or a player that's injured, separate them first, and skate them to the box. Even if you're not going to put them in the box, if you separated two players, put them in the box. Put them off the surface. Put them in their bench. I don't care where you put them. Don't leave them out there, because even if you watch it in the NHL, when they separate two guys, what happens? Marty McSorley comes back, and next thing you know, he's fighting with somebody else because they didn't take him to the box.
Yeah.
And you can really curb a lot of those extra fights and those extra gatherings by taking a breath, evaluating the situation, and then moving along in the best of your abilities.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
Well, I think kudos, like the NHL players, they get what's going on out there. Typically, once the linesman give them a couple taps on the arm, they know they're done. That's it. And it stops. I mean, they're very good about it. You watch the NHL, that's what happens. The two players go down, two linesmen come over, they get a little tap on the arm, and that's pretty much indicates we're done here. And, the players comply. You don't have that with amateur hockey if you have a scrum situation.
It depends. You know what?
The emotions are charged.
No, Scott, because I've seen AAA players go at it, and they're going, and then all of a sudden, both of them are like, "Yeah, we're done."
Yeah,
and like they'll tell
also
you,
AAA.
Hey,
they're AAA players. They get it.
They're still amateurs.
I know.
Still amateurs.
I know.
So, all right. Well, hey, Scott, why don't you go check out? There's a guy that looks like he's here from Mass. Did I see that correct?
Brian says, "What's up, boys?" I don't think that's him. What's this one?
Hey, I'd like to say, hey. Hang on. So Brian there that you just had up there. So I was at the Hawks home opener last week.
Yeah.
And guess who was the official scorekeeper?
Yep. Brian Smolacek, man. Congrats, buddy. Yeah. Brian's out there doing the NHL. So that's very cool.
Good thing the numbers don't go higher than 99. So that helps out. I'm just kidding, Brian. I appreciate it. I was trying to get a photo of him, but I didn't realize the official scorekeepers now, they actually sit upstairs.
They're up on that's like the 7th floor. I don't even know how those guys can see up there without like binoculars. For those of you that are true hockey fans, you know what I'm talking about, because you've sat in the 300 level like I have. And, you're looking down, and boy, it's a long way down there, okay? Pretty hard to see. It's a different perspective, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know if I threw my teddy bear from there, it definitely wouldn't make it to the rink.
We usually talk a little bit about the NHL during the week, and I watched a few of the games, the last few minutes of some games, things of that nature over the last like 10 days or so, and they are strict. You put a little tap on the stick, you get a slashing call. You take your hand off your stick, you put it on somebody's back, you're getting a holding call. I mean, they have got it down to the point where, do you think we're going to get to this point with USA Hockey and with hockey here in America? Amateur hockey, I should say, because I know that's where we're headed. I'm not sure we're quite there yet.
You're also dealing with players that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars
per game.
That their ability is, that they're meaning to do that. At the amateur level, as players are developing, their ability might be they're trying to keep themselves standing up straight, and that's why they grabbed onto that player. And I'm not putting any players down. No. I'm just stating I don't think you're comparing apples to oranges, and it just doesn't work with the amateur youth level and professional levels.
Yeah,
they're just two
I mean, it is
games.
interesting to see that like it is so tight. Like the rules are the rules in the NHL for the most part, and if a lot of stuff that is kind of part of the game has been taken out. So it's
you can put that last comment up there. We didn't say it.
Let's see. That's why I don't have season tickets anymore. The game is, I don't like escorts night to the net. Right to the net, rather. Yeah. I mean, it's a different game. And technically, I guess they play 2 seasons because the playoffs are a little different. The playoffs are a little more like old school hockey. It's a little tougher. It's a little more intense. It's a little tighter checking. Yeah, it's a different game. It's a different game.
The game I went to, the Hawks played the Wings, and there was actually some guys throwing some bodies around.
Yeah. We got a Domi now. We got Ty Jr. in the house.
Okay, all right. Let's just talk about that. So he takes this horrible hooking penalty. Okay, that's the number one, right? After it, though, he knows he's going to the box. So what's he do? He sheds his gloves and his stick, and he starts swinging at this guy. The guy wants nothing to do with him. Nothing. Like, doesn't even react to him. Like, made himself
He's a blood
silly.
relative of a Domi. You don't want anything to do with him, okay?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, just though, I was like, wow. I was like, that was interesting. And then, they take the poor Red Wings guy to the box and didn't do anything and put him in the box for 2 minutes, too. And
2 minutes for turtling.
I probably would have done the same thing if I was those guys. So
yeah,
I get it. So all right.
Yeah, it's definitely different. Let's see if I got anything else I wanted to cover here. I got a few things, but I might want to save a couple of these actually.
Save them
till after.
Save them.
Yeah.
Till after the big weekend.
Yeah.
That's when we'll be back.
Yeah, so next week, this is the last time we'll be on until the big weekend, right?
Yep.
Because next week is Halloween, so we'll take Halloween off.
Yep, and the big thing...
We're in costume all the time. We don't need to rub it in anybody's face.
Silly.
Yeah, anyway.
Well, and just remember for all the referees out there, not this weekend, but the weekend after that, Saturday to Sunday, change your clocks, because your clocks are going to be changing.
Is that here already? Oh my gosh, yeah, it's November.
Fall back.
Yeah, fall back. We get an extra hour of sleep. That's right.
Yep. Hey, the worst thing that could happen is
Is this the last time that this is happening? Didn't we finally agree like we're not going to do this anymore? Is this the last one, or did they not officially?
So I just learned something very interesting actually at work today because we were talking about this, and somebody said that in the 70s. They actually attempted this, and it didn't even last a year. I didn't know this, and there was outrage because people were bringing their kids to the bus stop in the dark across the nation.
Outrage.
Yep. So I don't think it'll probably last if it didn't last in the 70s for that reason. Just my personal 2 cents, but definitely.
Then why don't we just start school an hour later? How's that? There's the cure. 1 hour of daylight saved or given, and we just move. You'll start at 9 o'clock instead of 8 o'clock, and then nothing's changed for you.
But who's gonna drop them off? See,
brother.
You got all the solutions.
I get all the answers. I'm like the shell answer man. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't like that. I like getting the extra hour of sleep, but I sure hate losing it in the spring. I really do. And I like
I
the
don't
extra
like either
hour of
one.
daylight later into the day. That's just me.
I don't like either one. Just leave me alone. I got
Leave
enough
you alone
things
in the
going
first
on.
half of the year or the second half of the year? That's the
Whichever
question.
one. I don't
Leave
care.
me
Just leave me
alone
alone.
in the second half of the year. Like,
Sure, both.
I'm good with that.
Just leave me alone, like, in general about it. Don't make me change my clocks. You know, I
All
get
right,
real
so-
annoyed.
So since we're talking about the change in times coming, if you use the schedule on, from the website for the referees here in Illinois, if you're using the AHI schedule, where you take the calendar thing and put it into your phone.
Oh, that's a great.
Make sure. Now, it's not as bad this time of year because you're gaining an hour. It just means you're going to be there an hour and a half before your game time instead of a half hour before your game time. If you don't dump them all out and then put them back in after the time change goes into effect.
You would
Because-
think that Apple would be smart enough to fix that, but
Just saying.
no, you're
It's worse.
definitely right.
It's worse
'cause I've
in the
been bit by
spring
it.
because now you will be an hour late for your game. Okay, now you'll be an hour early, but you'll be an hour late. So if you use the scheduler thing, which is what I use, and I've paid the price for this a few times, like every year, I have to remember. But yeah, you got to take everything out and then put it back in. So, good tip. That's going to be our pro tip of the week for all you guys.
Closing subject.
Yeah, that'll do it, I guess. All right, anything else? Take some games. Lots of good hockey coming to Chicago. Perhaps you're coming to Chicago to work. Maybe you don't live here. Maybe you're coming in to work the tournament. Great tournament, great hockey. NHL coaches working with the best players in the country. I mean, awesome hockey. So get some games, have some fun, work with some great referees. Maybe you'll get to do a game with Brad Baumrock. What rink are you working out of?
Seven Bridges in Romeoville.
Okay. How many games you got? A
15.
lot. You got 15 for the tournament or 15 for the weekend?
15. 6, and 3.
Wow. A lot of hockey.
We're done by Sunday early.
Yeah. I'm not done till Sunday afternoon. Looking forward to it, though. All right. With that, everybody stay safe out there. Stay hydrated. Make sure if you do these games, you're doing 6 games, make sure you put some snacks in your bag. Bring a lunch with you if you need to because games run late. Times change, and you may not get the break you're hoping for. So bring lots of fluids, lots of water, lots of, sports drinks or whatever you need. But make sure you're loading the fluids. And a hair dryer and extra clothes. Bring a couple changes of clothes, extra socks, extra shirts, extra everything. Get your skates sharpened. Try to use them one time before the tournament so you're not out there for 3 games with skates that are funky. All the little things that are just good advice. Have extra backup of everything because you just never know. Be prepared. It's a lot of hockey, a lot of skating. A lot riding on the tournament, so have fun out there. Anything you want to throw into that little mix?
No, just have fun. It's before we know it, when we come back on, it'll be like 8 weeks, 9 weeks that the season's already gone by. So.
I mean, I can't believe that the tournament's already here. You talk about it, it's already here. It'll be gone before we know
coming,
it.
buddy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're already into Thanksgiving, and then we're on to Christmas and New Year's. And then playoffs.
Yep.
Like, they'll be here before you know it.
So, all right.
All right. Well, everybody have a great week or a great 2 weeks. Happy Halloween to all you guys out there that are checking us out for on the replays. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. So on behalf of Brad Baumrock, I'm Scott Smokin' Sills. If you'd like to support the show, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/refroom. What's coffee? $3 or $4? I think we got to raise the price on the coffee, man. I mean, that coffee is cheap. I don't think you can get a drink for under $4 or $5 nowadays.
not around here.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. No, 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
5:30 p.m. Central in 2 weeks. Okay, and that will have the time change, right? So we get an extra hour of sleep before we do the show.
Yes.
All right. With that. Peace out, everybody. Have a great week. Stay safe out there. Take some more games.